Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rich. I've got something to point out to you today, and that is that you are an abundance of ideas, and you have access to the universe of ideas. But how are you dealing with that? I often get asked about inspiration and how I work with it, how I get inspired, how I stay inspired, and my thought is that generally we are 100% attached to a world, a universe of ideas at all times of the day, morning, noon and night. You can sit down as a musician, sit down at your computer, sit down with an instrument and come up with an idea straight away. Idea. The problem is, it's not that you don't have the ideas. The problem is that you stop yourself. Let's say that idea again. Slightly different. There's a part of me that goes, no, not that one. So you go, oh, okay, let's try another one. And there's a part of me that goes, not that one. But what's happened is I've just passed up on two ideas. They could have been two songs. They could have been two whole pieces of music. The start of two whole pieces of music. And this is the mistake that so many people make, is they cull ideas to the point where they've gotten so used to saying no to an idea that they don't realise they have any ideas anymore. And this is what you call writer's block. When everyone's like, no, I don't have any ideas. I guarantee you have ideas. Whether it's writing, whether it's painting, whether it's making music, sit down and write something, make something, draw something. Like, everything is an idea or a starting point. It's what you do with those starting points. I feel so passionately about this. Like, look at this, for example. I was spray painting some frames, picture frames, and I put these pieces of paper in between them so that it didn't go all up on the inside of it. And look at this. How cool is that? This is a starting point. This is an idea. Yeah, it was an accident, but as Bob Ross would say, it's a happy little accident. And it's just like, everything is a starting point. I could get this trombone. I know, why have I got a trombone lying on the floor? You know, and going, that's a starting point. Like, okay, for me immediately, this is like some kind of orc war army that's going to come down. You might be hearing someone else. You might just be hearing someone farting. But it is a starting point, and you are filled with endless amounts of starting points and ideas. There's no reason why you can't use everything that comes out of you. Okay, that sounds really bad when I say it like that. Not fecal matter, I don't mean that. But I mean every idea that comes out creatively. There's no reason why you can't do it. Why you can just pick up this and go, right. Even with the duff note. It's an idea to run with. And that's the great thing about this stuff, is once you start to acknowledge that you can just come up with an idea like that, and the starting point of a piece of music, the starting point of a piece of art, just like that quickly, that easily, you realise, oh my gosh, I've been saying no to millions and millions of ideas. I mean, how many times, musicians here, how many times have you sat down at your computer and you've been like, I'm going to come up with the best bass line ever, and you're just like, no, rubbish. Before you realise you've scrapped 30 ideas, and then you just feel rubbish. You feel like, I don't have any ideas, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. But because you're scrapping the ideas before they have a chance to flourish, it's kind of like this. Picking up an acorn and going, well, this isn't a bloody oak tree, and just tossing the acorn. That's what you're doing. You're picking up a bunch of pumpkin seeds and saying, these look nothing like pumpkins, tossing them into the ground. The good thing about doing that is it will probably grow pumpkins and oak trees. But tossing your ideas away doesn't grow those ideas into finished pieces of work. You need to nurture these ideas, these seeds, these little starting points. Because otherwise they're just nothing. My wife and I went for a walk recently, and we were talking about this, about inspiration and creativity, and we both kind of came to the same conclusion that actually the inner critic is the stopping point. The inner critic is the cork in the flow. And that's what you've got to acknowledge. So with my students, anyone who takes my courses will know that I often will say, do not write and edit at the same time. Because your editor and your writer are two separate identities inside here. Two separate people completely. For instance, your editor will hear an idea and be like, no, that's not right. Whereas your writer will be like, yeah, man, let's just go with this idea. Oh, yeah, this is awesome. Let's just run with it. So you let the writer write. And then later on down the line, you let the editor edit. You let the artist produce art. You let the curator curate. You don't filter at the start. You need to get into the practice of creating and nurturing small ideas into bigger ideas, into finished pieces. This is how I write music so fast. And I'm not saying all of my music is high quality. That's not the game for me. The game for me is nurturing this openness to ideas. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Whilst I've been talking, I've been thinking about those 3 ideas I've just come up with, thinking like, damn it, that's 3 good songs I have there. Or the starting point of 3 good songs. And that's what's exciting. And this is one of the things that gets me so excited. And it's the same with these vlogs. These videos. I'll sit down and a thought will pop into my head and I go, well, that's the starting point of a conversation. Doop. I literally just picked up my guitar before I had this and just played something and thought, oh, I need to talk about that. I need to talk about how one idea is the starting point. So I want you to think about that the next time you sit to create. You move the editor, the curator, the filter out of the way, and you let the creator create. It's like filming footage. You film all the raw footage, then you chop it up to sculpt it to what you want it to be. Or edit it to what you want it to be. That's why I love sketchbooks as well. And this is why I've started doing this whole thing, which is just like, I'm just going to let the ideas out as and when I do them, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So this week, I say this week, today, whenever you watch this or listen to it, if you're like me, I put it on my phone, turn my phone off, and then play it like a podcast. Whenever you hear this, apply that to the next time you create something. Sit down and start creating, and just let the creating happen. So what if you don't really like it at the end of it? This way you're going to start to build that muscle that allows the ideas to come out and be nurtured. You will take that oak seed, acorn, and you will plant it, and you will water it. And that is what you need to start practicing nurturing your ideas and allowing them to even be heard. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You are awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Boop.